Hi, boys and girls. Back for Hardy Boys Clue Book number 1, the video game Bandit, and we're now on to chapter 3 called A Single Clue. And right before when we left off with chapter 2, we had just realized that the Z Cross 5000 was missing and someone took it, but we're not sure who. So this has to be a mistake, Mrs. Freeman explained. Who would steal something from us? Who would do that? She looked back at the crowd, noticing that everyone was still watching Sissy and her. A few women in the front row were whispering to one another, and an older man with white hair looked shocked. Coach Quinn grabbed the microphone. If you could excuse us, we'll need to put the auction on hold while we figure this out. In the meantime, please enjoy the dessert table. She pointed to the other side of the patio, where a table with cookies and cakes was set up. Slowly, everyone got out of their seats. Some were still looking at Sissy and wondering what happened. Do you really think someone took it? Joe said, turning to his brother. I don't know, Frank replied. Let's go see. Sissy and Mrs. Freeman had already disappeared into the house. Frank and Joe had found them in the den. Mr. Fun was there too, along with Mrs. Freeman. It was right here, Sissy repeated. She pointed to the spot on the floor. I left it with some of the other prizes. Frank and Joe scanned the den. There was a long couch, a coffee table, and a television set. In one corner was Ellie's piano. In the other was a polka dot bean chair. A few family photos were on display, but other than that, the walls were bare. Oh, good, Mr. Fun turned around, noticing for the first time that Frank and Joe had come inside. You're here. What do you two best detectives in Bayport think? Joe was about to respond, and then he noticed Frank. His brother was on the other side of the coffee table. He knelt down and picked up a few sheets of paper. Instructions for the Z-Cross 5000, he whispered. Joe walked over to get a better look. The paper booklet was ripped right down the center. It looked crumbled around the edges, too. Maybe whoever took the Z-Cross dropped this on their way out, Joe said. They were probably in a hurry, Frank added. They definitely opened the box. There aren't any other signs of it, though, Joe pointed out. Could this be a mistake? Mrs. Freeman asked. She kept rubbing her temples with her fingers. Maybe someone accidentally took it. I don't think so. It had a sign on it that said for the auction, Sissy shook her head. I saw it about a half hour ago. A few of the bigger prizes were in here, but most of the other stuff was in the dining room. I don't know what happened. I can't believe this, Mr. Fun said. Whoever was responsible must be caught. They can't just walk away with it. It's maddening. We'll figure out who did this, Frank promised. He scanned the room again, checking to see if there was anything he might have missed. I hope so, Mrs. Freeman said. She glanced at the window, where the party was still going on. The auction was supposed to be over around 5 o'clock, but I don't know how long people will stay, if we can even find the biggest auction prize. I don't know how long people will stay if we can't even find the biggest auction prize. Joe pulled out his notebook from his back pocket and flipped to a clean page. There's no time to waste, he said. Let's get started. Here's a clue here, part here that shows the directions there for the Z-Cross 5000. Chapter 4, the 5 W's. The 5 W's. What could those stand for? I wonder if they have some questions.